thank you guys and welcome to the team. Happy second Monday, right, of us doing our town hall. And I think many of us are starting our third week of quarantine. And, we're all still here. Let's just take a moment to appreciate that we've made it this far. And we have smiling faces to greet you today here. And I don't know about you guys, it has been sunny and hot. It feels like summer outside. So Florida is definitely heating up. So we've got a good weekend. Welcome to everybody who's joining us. So this is our second town hall. And after last week, we had such a great attendance as well as a lot of emails afterwards from people about it that we determined we're going to go ahead, especially during this time, and continue these each and every week. And just to review for anybody who didn't attend last week, really what the premise is and the purpose behind these and the difference between some other calls that you're seeing that'll start again today, this evening, is that this is a check-in. So this is an opportunity for the four of us to check in with you. Number one, we're going to try to provide you any updates that we're hearing. We know you're getting inundated if you're like us with information. So Nancy will try to give you sort of an overall, any updates she might have from WBEC, and then we're going to give you updates of things that we're hearing from each of our regions. Excuse me. And then we'll also be sharing any innovative ideas we've been seeing from you guys on things that you're doing, any opportunities we're hearing. And as you know, we'll be continuing to update this in our opportunities. We also are recording these. They are on our YouTube channel, so we'll make sure we'll be sending the link. So if you want to share it with your friends, please do. And then also keep the feedback, because as you can tell, we are answering and keeping up with the feedback. So we'll talk at the end a little bit about the other calls, but that's what this call is about. It's really for us to kind of help curate all this content you're getting and help it really get down to the meat on the bones of what's really going to be helping you in your business. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to our fabulous leader, Ms. Nancy Allen, to greet us and give us any updates she might have from WBEC.
From WBEC. Okay, well, welcome everyone. And we're glad you're here for the second Monday of our town hall meetings. And as far as WBEC is concerned, I don't have any updates other than what Stephanie has sent out, where we recapped the Woman-Owned Wednesday, and then all of the updates that WBEC has from the SBA. So in addition to going to our website, and Steph has done a really great job of doing a resources page on our website. You can go there for information. You can also go to the WBEC national site, and that's wbeec.org, WBENC.org, and they have up-to-date information as well. I don't think a decision has been made officially regarding the conference, but I'm pretty sure that the conference might not happen this year, and WBEC is looking at different ways regionally and nationally to help with matchmakers and opportunities. So kind of stay tuned for those. And then as far as opportunities from corporate partners, we're still getting some every once in a while, and Lisa and Steph are really good about sending those out. So if we hear anything, a couple of weeks ago we had an opportunity for some federal contracting related to gloves and medical supplies. If we hear of anything that's absolutely needed, we will send that out to you. So just check your emails. I think between last week and this week, you've probably gotten 10, maybe a little bit more emails from us. And if it's too much for you, just delete. But we're trying to keep you as informed as possible. That's our goal. And in our new reality of telecommuting and teleconferencing, you know, we're using the Zoom platform the most. And in a little bit, we'll tell you about our regional meetups that we're doing via Zoom. So stay tuned for that. And remember that we're just a phone call away or an email away. So whatever region you're in, identify your regional coordinator and contact her as your first point of contact. You can also call the office. Lisa and Gelsey are working from home, as are all of us, but we're connected. So we're here to help you in any way we can, and we're glad you're here.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nancy. And just as a quick reminder, again, for this particular forum, because we anticipate, like we did last time, quite a lot of people, this forum is us sending you information. However, please feel free to send us something in the chat. We can all see it. I also do get that so that we can go back through it if there was something we need to follow up on. And then there is Q&A. You can put your hand up. There's a few different ways, but again, we all are going to be watching the chat. So if you do have anything to add to the conversation, please, please, please do that. We want to hear from you. And with that, Diane, if you don't mind kicking us off from the regional updates and let us know, what region you have for anybody who might be new to the call, and just how things are going for you guys in Central Florida.
Okay, hi everybody. This is Diane Sears, and I'm the Central Florida coordinator. We are busier than ever. I have to say that a lot of people must be taking this time to apply for their certification. So I started 2 weeks ago, I think, with about 5 certifications to do site visits for, and I'm at really 9 now. So we are doing site visits virtually, and I have to share with you that WBEC takes these very, very seriously. So Nancy knows this very well. They put together a very extensive kind of format for us to use to do these virtually, and they've been working pretty well. So it's just like I'm talking to you now. We get the woman business owner on the phone, and we exchange information, and I type information in. So I've conducted 3 virtual site visits so far. 2 of the people I knew really well, 1 person I didn't necessarily, so I got to have a tour of all of their sites as best they could do. Now that we're on lockdown, we don't necessarily get to see the inside of their factories or that kind of thing, but we've promised them that within 6 months, as far as everything's open, we will come back for a virtual site visit, maybe have coffee. So that's working out really well. Our recertifications will happen the same way. So we've been getting lots of requests for recertifications too. Any of you who are on this call who are up for recertification, you have to know that that's what's going on. Here in Central Florida, we've had a lot of emails, probably just the same as you all have in other parts of the state, I'm sure, from all of the helper groups wanting to help out. So we have the National Entrepreneur Center, of course, the SBA, our local SBA people trying to help, our Orlando Economic Partnership, which is a combination of our big Chamber of Commerce and our Economic Development Commission. They're doing some things. The Hispanic Chamber here. So they're all surveying the business owners, trying to get a pulse on what's going on, and then also offering resources just like we are here for you all. So one of the things that we'll be able to do on our regional calls that Steph and Nancy have mentioned is be able to help you with what's going on in your region. So this is kind of a broad general call to get us all together. And then when we do our smaller regional calls starting this evening, we'll be able to talk about more specific things that can help you in your region. I think everybody's a little different. My area right now, we are in shelter in place mode, but I know that just north of me I'm in Orange County, and just north of me in Seminole County, they are not necessarily in shelter in place mode. They are still in don't get together with people more than 10 at a time. So it's very, very different and hard to navigate everything and what you're supposed to be doing and not doing. If you need any help with that, let me know, because I watch the news 24 hours a day. Even when I'm sleeping, I wake up and look at my phone. I'm a news reporter. So anything I can do to help anyone in our region or anywhere, let me know. The Central Florida region, we will start our regional calls tomorrow night. So Steph, I know you're going over the schedule with everyone. Nancy starts tonight, and I'll pick up tomorrow night. So just to let you all know.
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead because we've mentioned that a few times. So I'll jump in before we let Joanna talk about her area. So if you missed it, one of the things that we announced last week, and as Nancy said, it's gone out in the bottom of every email you're getting from me. So, and just as a side note, most everything that is in those emails are either things that are on the resource page, number one, especially if there are resources and things, and number two, or all the events are on the Facebook page. So again, if you're overwhelmed and you want to put our emails aside, which we understand, make sure you just bookmark the resource page and the Facebook page, because everything is repeated on all of those pages. So again, it may feel like a lot for me right now, but we want to make sure when we hear things that we're getting them out to you. So again, the regional calls are happening. They start tonight. They're at 7 o'clock. And tonight is the Miami area with Nancy. Tomorrow is the Central Florida area with Diane. And then Wednesday nights are the Tampa Bay area with Joanna. And then Thursday nights are North Florida with myself. This is just an opportunity. You will be on like this if you choose. You can always hide yourself if you don't want to. There's 7 o'clock at night. You're welcome to get on with a glass of wine. That will not faze us, or coffee or whatever. And it will be an opportunity for us to just really dig in deep about what we're dealing with in our area, how we can help each other, brainstorming, all those kind of things. So we will be there to help direct the conversation. And the call links are on the Facebook page. They were also in the email that went out this morning. And so it's going to be the same link for every week. So if you just want to save it, if you want to attend or put it on your calendar as a weekly call and come when you can, your particular one, so the one tonight for Nancy will be Nancy until we are released, unless Nancy, we like them so much, we want to keep them up. So Joanna, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Joanna to tell us what's going on over in the Tampa Bay area.
Yes, thanks, Steph. Hi, everybody. I'm Joanna Sanchez, and I'm over here in the South Tampa area. But as you guys may know, I cover the Tampa area, Lakeland, Pinellas County, up north, all the way up to Hardy County. So really, if you haven't had a chance to attend one of our events, this is a great time to meet up virtually, where you can have an opportunity to meet other women business owners. What I have noticed going on around here is that the resources are just, there's a plethora now, I feel like, of resources. Everybody is willing to help everybody, and I think that speaks a lot to what's happening right now and how everybody is willing to be a lending hand to one another. So we have the SBDC of Tampa. They are there for you if you need help filling out the bridge loan gap forms and applying for all of those resources that are there for you. And then also we have the ECC, which is the Entrepreneurial Collaborative Center. If you haven't signed up for their emails, I would definitely recommend doing so, because they are sharing information from Hillsborough County and sending that out to you as soon as they get the information. One thing that did catch my attention was the business damage assessment survey. If you haven't taken that assessment, I would go ahead and take the time to go on and log in. And if you've been affected by COVID-19 at all, we need to share that so that we can get the numbers accurate out there, so that they know how much money to allocate to the businesses out there, and so that they really know how hard we're being affected if we are. So if you haven't already, go ahead and fill out the business damage assessment survey, and I'll send you that link, Steph, so that it'll be just at one click away for you to do that. And then at the ECC also, they are doing a lot of their events virtually. So you can actually sign up, the 1 Million Cups event. If you've never attended that event, I would strongly recommend going in. And that event is kind of, if you've ever wanted to work on your pitch, or you needed to critique your elevator speech, that's a great place to go to see how other people do it. And if you're interested in pitching, it's for businesses that are like startup businesses, 5 years or less. And you actually get a little bit of online training so you can perfect your pitch and go ahead and do that. So I think that's a great little um, token to take advantage of at this time when you are at home doing nothing, or maybe you are doing a lot, but why not do it if it's been on your bucket list to do that? Okay, and so then our other resource partner, Working Women of Tampa Bay, they are also offering workshops that are online, and those workshops have a cost to them, but what's really special about Working Women of Tampa Bay is they are actually donating a portion of their classes to other women business owners that are in need. So I think that's something really special. So if you are interested, you can go to their website, workingwomenoftampabay.com. They have a LinkedIn 101, April 1st at 11 a.m. I know we kind of talked briefly about that last week, the LinkedIn workshop. And then they also have like a Zoom class. And if you just want to go on and do virtual coffee, I think it's like $15 for you to just chat with other women business owners. So yeah, I think
Great.
that's kind of,
yeah. I was going to say, so let me jump in, Joanna, and say that we are looking at partnering with Working Women of Tampa Bay. We got an email this morning. She's looking for presenters, and we have lots of women business owners who could share their expertise. So be on the lookout for that information. We will be collaborating with them, and I think it's a great opportunity if you've got some information that you want to share. She probably will have an application process. We're not quite sure what the application will be, but she did reach out to us. So stay tuned for that as a possible opportunity to do some marketing and some sharing of expertise.
Yes, thanks for reminding me of that, Nancy. Yeah. So I think
so as Joanna said, one of the things, and I didn't follow up, but I will do this today, guys, that we are going to do is we're going to take the resource page, and actually we're going to add a secondary page for each of our areas. And so I will work on that and get that up by the end of today. And so I know Jana, just send me the stuff that you talked about, and I will start doing that too. So what we'll do is we'll have the main resource page, and at the top you'll be able to click and go to the page specific for your county. And I think that'll be really helpful too, because there is so much great information that is specific. And to what Diane said, especially under the circumstances that we're all kind of dealing with different orders within the counties, and then we cross counties. So that adds another level, because I'm like you here in Flagler County where I live, we're under a stay-at-home order, shelter in place kind of thing. But I live not even half a mile to the border of St. John's, which is it. So it's really interesting, because obviously they don't want us going out at all unless we need to, but I can walk to the next county, and there you go. So anyway, thank you so much. So yeah, so just know that we will, and I will send that out tomorrow, the new resource page, and then we'll start adding anything specific like Joanna said, and Diane said some things from her local market. And then I know Nancy, the SBA of South Florida, has been really doing a lot of great things. And so we'll make sure that we also help you find the resources for your counties, especially.
Stephanie, may I say something too about what Go for the Greens is doing? I see some familiar names on there who are actually Go for the Greens community members. Go for the Greens is a conference that happens every September at Walt Disney World. And we have been putting together some similar things like this. We will be having our first event on April 8th. So that's not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, to talk about how to do business in this climate. We actually have some virtual matchmaking type things taking place. So our first guest will be from UPS, which has been a title sponsor of Go for the Greens for a long time. So they've agreed to be our first, and we are approaching other corporations as well. We're working with a woman-owned business that's certified with us to put together the virtual matchmaking. So you'll have to actually fill out a little form online that says who you are, what your company does. You don't have to be certified. You do have to be a woman-owned business. So we hope you will become certified during the process, but then we'll start doing some virtual matchmaking. We're finding that our corporations, they're still doing business and they're still tasked with bringing in diverse suppliers, even in this crazy work environment. So we want to help them as much as we can. And we also want to help the women business owners. And this is all completely free. Go for the Greens, as you all know, is a 100% volunteer run and is a big partner with WBEC Florida and also with WeBank. So we're all kind of working in partnership with that. So let me know if anybody has any questions, but we'll put that, if you don't mind, Steph, we'll put that resource on the website as well.
Yeah, we will definitely get that out. And that actually is just a great, I think some of you have been emailing me also. So another thing we wanted to let you know, and if you're in the WBE, if you're certified with the WBE Facebook group, a lot of you have been jumping in there recently. That is a great place. Many of you have, some of you put together some free resources, and we've shared some of those from our Green members. So again, feel free in those spaces in the Facebook groups to post things that you might be doing in your business. And the other thing is, some of you, as Diane said, a lot of these businesses are needing the same things you're hearing the medical industry need. And so some of you may be altering, if you have production facilities, to make new products that are needed in the marketplace. Please reach out and let us know. Nancy, definitely, and I know Diane, you do too, and Joanna, you might as well, but we have a pulse point. These companies are calling us. And so I know, Nancy, you are getting requests, and our supplier companies are really keeping an eye out. So if you are making any of these products, please let us know, and we would love to potentially talk to you. I just hope that's okay, Nancy. I wanted to let them know because I know you're getting phone calls. And make sure you're updating with the description, right, Nancy, too?
Yes, they still want to see your capability statement. So take some time now that we have some downtime. If you don't have a capability statement, take some time to take care of that, and call any of us, or reach out to any of us, and we can help you, guide you through that process. Steph, I saw that there are a couple of people who are asking for the link to the resources page. So if you could put that in, and then Diane, why don't you go ahead and type in the Go for the Greens information too, just the basic website. Okay. And while they're doing that, let me just take a couple of minutes to encourage you during this downtime to do something that I did yesterday that was so much fun for me, because I guess I love to learn. But I started listening to one podcast and I lifted my head 6 hours later. And I learned so much yesterday. I was listening to Simon Sinek talk about his book, Leaders Eat Last. And it's a fabulous book if you haven't read it. And you don't need to read the whole book. He's got some great interviews out there about the role of leadership in companies, and how business owners, as they're looking to scale to the next level, or to face a crisis, or to build a culture, how it is they can very, very easily build a leadership culture. And it's as simple and as difficult, but as simple as your job as a leader is to take care of your team. Your job as a leader is not to take care of your customers. You need to have your team take care of your customers, and you be taking care of your team. And it's all about building trust within your team, making it so that your team knows that you have their back, and they therefore will have your back. And we all know the research that says that people leave organizations, they leave jobs because they didn't feel appreciated. So take some time now to try to figure out how can you show your team some appreciation. And if you need some links and information about some really, really great TED Talks and interviews, contact me, because I'm a TED Talk junkie, and I listen to all kinds of TED Talks. And as I said yesterday, I started out, I just wanted, you know, in preparation for our upcoming book chats, I just wanted to refresh my memory on what Simon Sinek had said about leadership. And that led to another, because, you know, these TED Talk programs and YouTube, they suggest if you listen to this, you might be interested in that. So it just was one chain reaction. And as I said, 6 hours later, I lifted my head and said, wow, I've had a very, very productive day.
And I'll add to that, Nancy, too, become appreciation that you can also check out our blog last month in February, which it is funny when I say that because it feels like February was 2 months ago.
Or more.
Longest month ever.
But we did a series on appreciation. So it's on the website under blog, and you'll be able to see links and other ideas. And actually, especially now, because, you know, if you do work in an office and you're not able to connect, like even us, even though we don't connect that often, I usually see Nancy at least once a month. We meet up somewhere. So this is hard for us too. And so things that you can be doing, I think that's a great idea. And then as Nancy said, we are working to get the virtual book series up and running. And, you know, I know we're busy with a lot of things, but I don't know about you guys. I tend to throw one of these little ear thingies in, and sometimes I'm listening while I'm, you know, doing other stuff. So it can be great. I'm just going to give you guys a quick update from North Florida, and just so that you know, I cover everything except the Panhandle. So I don't go over to the Panhandle, but I do have Flagler County, St. Johns County, and pretty much anything. If you take where I live and go 2 hours either direction, that's where I go. And again, the main thing for this area, and I said this last time, is to make sure you stay up with the chambers. Both the Jacksonville and the St. Johns County Chamber have been doing some amazing videos, and I actually can't wait. I needed to share the one from last week. They did a fabulous video here in St. Johns County of our economic development director really going through and explaining everything about both loans, the national one and the Florida loan, and it was really informative and plain language. As we all know, when we see a lot of these orders from the government, it can be very confusing. And what they found is some people had applied and because they just really didn't understand the application process, right? So it kind of walks you through that. So definitely, and you don't have to be, you can be in either county to sign up to get the emails. So, you know, if you work in some of the other counties, that's why we're doing this all together, is definitely go out. We have found SBA offices, the chamber offices, to me, have just been incredible. The other thing up here that both Jacksonville and St. Johns County are doing on their chamber is they have a page about businesses. And so if you're open, how you're working. So if you have a service or something, how you're working. If you're closed, how people can still work with you, any specials you're doing. They're also posting employee opportunities, as you can imagine. They are looking for all the help they can get at the hospitals. And this is all kinds of help, guys. So don't just think about it, you know, I don't have a medical product. It could be anything. They could be looking for virtual training opportunities right now. I know my school reached out to get some help with the teachers on Zoom and stuff like that. So there are all kinds of opportunities in this. So again, I just thought that was really great when I saw one of the emails from the St. John's Chamber saying, check out and let us know if your business, how you're working, and we'll share that out with our community. And so definitely make sure you are checking into that, and what a great resource, right? To let you know also what hospitals are needing. And again, it's not just what you might think. Like it's surprising. Nancy, I know, isn't ever surprised, or Diane, but I'm sometimes like, wow, I never thought they could use that. But they're looking for anything. And of course, right now, if you guys also haven't seen, but there's not a lot of the virtual meetings going on in this area. I think everybody's still kind of regrouping because last week was really focused on getting the teachers ready. And so a lot of things processed for that. A lot of people were not as busy maybe with work because we were so focused last week. Now virtual school started this week for all of us up here in North Florida. I think it might have been some of the other areas, right? So I feel like now, I told Nancy when I talked to her, I said, okay, now I kind of know how my work life can go because I know how school's going to go. So last week was still a little bit of I have no clue what day it is. I don't know what's happening. So now I'm seeing a lot more things coming out today from the businesses that are up and running and how they're working and what they're doing. So, just make sure that you are communicating. I think that's the biggest thing we're learning from this is communicate, make sure your audience knows how they can get your products and services if you're still able to do it. And again, if you need help brainstorming, I don't know about you guys, but I know we all love to brainstorm and are quite happy to get on a phone and hear about your business and see how we can put our heads together and come up with a new way for you to work. And I will use that as a quick transition, Nancy and Diane. Do you guys want to give an update on the book? And because this could be a really useful tool, I think, of all the tips and things of how we can think innovatively at this time.
All right, so Diane, do you want to share the great news?
Yes, we are inches away from publishing Nancy's first book, and it's designed to help women business owners who are in the maybe 3 to 5 year range, and then other people who are going through growth spurts. So it's one of those great resources that you can have on the shelves and use all the time. So Nancy, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the actual book?
Yeah, so it's called The Decision to Scale, and we have 25 tips on what to do to scale your business. And the book is in, I think, 3 parts. So there's a mindset part, building your team part, and then a community part. And we really believe in the holistic approach to business development, right? So you have to have the right mindset. So the very first part of the book is looking at what may be holding you back from change, right? What may be holding you back from scaling your business. And then the second part, once you do decide that you want to scale your business, there are certain things that you really need to have in place. And so we've got some tools and worksheets and some samples, like we have some sample capability statements in there and some worksheets. And then finally, looking beyond your team to your community, how do you communicate outwards? And we're really, really excited. I've gotten some interest all the way from Portugal, and they're going to be translating the book into Portuguese, and we're going to do some mastermind groups. And also now is the time for you all to consider, what is it that you do and how can you share the information of what you do? And I'll share with you all that I didn't start out to write a book, okay? And if I had decided a year and a half ago that I was going to write a book, I'd still probably be on the introduction or maybe chapter 1 by now. But what I did is every week, some of you probably read the Tuesday toolboxes that we had committed to sending out every Tuesday, a business resource tool. And I just did that consistently. And it was about 350 words. We had a monthly theme. We had weekly posts. And somebody read one, then she read another and another. And she called me and she said, you have a book here. In fact, you probably have more than one book. And as a result of that, we said, yeah, why not? We have all these great tools, and why not share them? So I am challenging you, everyone on this call, if you write blogs on a regular basis, go back and see, can you consolidate those and put that into some kind of a book? You have to share your expertise, right? It's all about sharing, and that's what's going to set you apart, especially in this time, is what can you do, what tools, what resources, how can you help others? What solutions can you provide? So if anybody wants any tips on book writing or blog writing, contact us and we can certainly help you.
And the book will be available as a soft cover that you can order from Amazon. And then it will also be available on Kindle. So you can read it electronically. either way. And then eventually we're going to have Nancy do, right, an audiobook.
An audiobook, yes. I'm
It'll take a
committed
little bit
to
longer,
doing
but
an
yeah.
audiobook too, for those of us that are way too busy to sit and read, but you know, who have some time where they can listen. So yeah, exciting times. And I really, there are a couple of programs where you can easily share your expertise. So we're looking at putting some information up on a platform called Skillshare. And that's a very easy platform to get to work with. And it's really, I think, more lead generation than you know, income generation. Although there are some people, if you reach a critical mass of people who watch your Skillshare courses, you can actually make some money. But check that out as a potential resource. It's easy to do, and the classes on Skillshare generally run between 20 and 30 minutes. So I think everyone on this call has something that they can share in about a 20-minute time frame. And if you're interested, since we're looking at it, we can probably share some tips and information with you about that as well.
Yeah, I will just jump in there and say, Nancy and I have laughed that we didn't know we were preparing for this, I think, over the past 2 years, but we have taken oodles and oodles of courses on how to produce things in a virtual landscape. So we are excited because our obviously is sharing this with you, right? So absolutely, we are excited to get this information out. And the reason I really wanted to mention the book too was because right now is that time, right? So no matter what, where you are in your business, we all are right now having to think and scale differently. And so again, as Nancy mentioned, once the book is ready, even if you just download it, you can go to the section that maybe you are really focusing on, the marketing section or the mindset section, and go to that section and get these tips. And so that was what I mentioned, because I think right now, it can be overwhelming, and the main thing we're trying to do, right, is just keep up the everyday essence of our business running and employees if we have them, and our customers. And so how do we do this in the different landscape? And so I really, you know, want to encourage you. And then the other thing is also, again, we're kind of testing this for you. So, you know, Nancy's now written the book, so she understands that process. So we'll be bringing some more information on how to do that from Diane. We also are in the process of, I'm going to give a little bit of a hint, Nancy, of a course. And so we have taken all kinds of classes and work with coaches on how to really do a great online course based on a book. So there's a lot of knowledge, and we are excited to share that with you in the next few weeks. But then also that, again, is some things that we want to mention, that if you do want to have calls, I know we're all very happy to share what platforms we're using, you know, who we spoke to, tips. So those are all things that you've been seeing in some of the Tuesday toolboxes. You're going to see more of that as we kind of, I'll just say this, Nancy, as we kind of test it out for you, let it know how it works. We love doing that, right, guys? We love to test and learn, and we have no fear of it. And so definitely let us know. A couple of other things I just want to mention that Nancy said. So again, this is a great time to challenge yourself. And so if you have been wanting to get that book out, start with just a little blog. You can even just do an article on LinkedIn every day, which is great exposure for you. And again, 200 or 300 words, and you know, start with that. So consider a LinkedIn article. They are fabulous. Nancy did the toolbox in that format as well, and it got tons of exposure for her and all of us. And so consider that. You don't even have to set up a fancy blog or a website. You can literally just type it in and do it on LinkedIn, and then you can share it to all your other platforms. So that's a great idea. The other thing is, again, any courses. And so let us know. I would love to know, like, go in our Facebook group. Let us know if there's anything you've taken. Share it with your friends in our community. Let them know what you are doing right now, any books you're reading, all of that. And then a final thing is we will be reaching out to some of you during this time as well. Again, as Nancy said, she will let you know about what Working Women of Tampa is looking for. We're going to let you know. I want to thank those of you who had filled out on our website as a place to let us know if you have contributions to our content. And so we're going to be going through that and maybe reaching out to some of you guys if you're in the space right now that we're hearing people looking for information to potentially help us, you know, really get out and educate people on so many of these new things that we're working. And so any other, I think I saw, and thank you, Joanna, for answering it, but yes, you can join any of the calls. So that's why they're all at the same time. You don't have to get on the one with your region. We did this to, number one, split up the calls, but then also, because we can't see each other in person, we can at least see each other this way. And so, but yes, if you want to see Nancy, jump on Nancy's calls. And so they're all on the Facebook. They're going out in the bottom of every email. So just scroll to the bottom. I'm going to keep them in the bottom of every email. And we're sharing them on LinkedIn. So any platform I can think of, let me know. We're trying to get it out there to you. So we've got about 15 minutes left. I don't know if there's any other questions that come up. I saw.
And Nancy will be on the Wednesday call also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be jumping on each other's too.
Nancy will be on available Monday and Wednesdays.
Yes. No, there's so much opportunity now. And I just want to maybe take a couple of minutes and say, yesterday or Saturday, I found myself kind of in, a downward spiral. I was watching a new series on Amazon Prime with one of my favorite actors, Benedict Cuthbert or something or other, the guy who did Sherlock. And he has a new series, and I thought, from the previews, it looked like it was really interesting, but it was, just so depressing to me. And
you don't need depressing right now. You want a happy.
All sorts of, he's a heroin addict, and he's dealing with his father issues and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, I just found myself like, oh God, I'm just like the weight of the world on my shoulders. And fortunately, I turned that off and I did something differently. So if you find yourself,
you didn't turn on CNN, did you? That would be bad.
No, that would be the death of me, I think. So what I find happens when we're feeling overwhelmed is that feeling feeds itself. Right. And one of the things about what we can do, because that's a choice, right? We can choose to be in this downward spiral, or we can choose to look up and out. That phrase, looking up and out, is from a really great book by Simon Sinek called The Infinite Game. And he says that that's what leaders do. Leaders spend time looking up and out. They should, instead of calling ourselves CEOs, he says we should call ourselves Chief Visionary Officers. So we should call ourselves CVOs. So if you're finding that you're in a space where you can't seem to think clearly, right? Stop what you're doing, because for me, I was watching this show that maybe in other times would not have affected me the way that it affected me. But I took control of that feeling and said, no, I'm not watching this anymore. It's taking me someplace dark that I don't want to be. And let me do something that's going to lift me back to where I need to be to open up and be more receptive to creative thinking. And we have lots of time on our hands now, right? The time that you were commuting to your office and back home, you could sit and listen to a great book. You could watch an inspirational TED Talk. Brene Brown is one of my favorite authors, and I listened. She has a brand new podcast, and I listened to her very first podcast. She talks about FFTs, effing first times, right? So anytime you're doing something for the first time, it's crazy, it's scary, it's you're not sure, you lack confidence, but she goes through 5 things that you can think about as you're going through some kind of a first time. And for many of us, this whole situation, this is the first time that we're in this kind of situation in this country where things are shutting down and we have practically no control, right? So let's take this opportunity to really look up and out. What is it about my business that I really like doing? and where does my passion lie within my business, and how can I communicate that passion to other people as a solution to some issue that they might have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share. One of the other coaches, Nancy, and I work with, Janine Blackwell. We both watched a session of hers last week. And I thought it was so interesting, Nancy. She showed the opportunity, right, of really looking into, number one, even like you said, like ourselves, like what do we wish we had? And that could be inspiration, but then just this, again, looking at the curve of opportunity for so many of us. And I wanted to also mention, and Joanna, you may be this, but we always talk about too, of kind of getting into almost that childlike state of mind to help produce creativity. And going through my daughter's schedule, she's 5 in kindergarten, and her schedule today, and it was actually very refreshing, because you look at it at a kindergartner, because again, you think we don't really have that much of an attention span. What is it they say now? Your attention span is like 3 minutes or 2 minutes or something, maybe not even that much for people, even grown-ups. And so it literally is, like reading, and then art, and then math, and then something enrichment, like we might do music or a video or something, and then it's something else, and then it's a break. So while there's activities and it's all learning, in between these hour blocks of actual heavy focus on, we're going to do math right now, then she builds in, okay, now spend 30 minutes and just draw, free drawing, right? And I got thinking about how beautiful that is, because really when you think about it, they talk about that we need to stand and stretch and do all these things after we do an hour like this, but how wonderful it is to build in, and even sitting down with my daughter and coloring right now, and we've been gardening, and so I told Nancy, I said, I'm actually going to build that in. I'm going to do an hour of work, and then an hour to relax, and then an hour of work, and because I've got all day. Like Nancy said, I'm not driving an hour and a half each way to go to Jacksonville. That's 3 hours back of my life, or the hour it takes me to get my daughter to school and back. So I probably just gained 5 more hours in my day, and so not to just bombard it with more work, which I think I did the first week, but try to get that balance. So anyway, I love that. And I think I would love to put that challenge out, is let us know, besides work, what is something that you are doing to help keep your mind balanced. And I'm going to say it that way, keep your mind balanced, because we could, so many of us, because I know a lot of the names on here, and I know you do too, Diane. I know a lot of these people that could just sit at this desk all day long and lose themselves for 6 hours. I've done it on a normal basis, but now it could get even worse, right? Especially if you don't have somebody else at home with you. Like the times my daughter's gonna be with her dad, I'll have to watch that. So I just really want to challenge you guys. What is it you like to do? If you like to go out, go garden. If you like to ride a bike, take a walk. These are all things we can still do while social distancing. I just got in, you will laugh, I used to love to do those hook rugs when I was a teenager, and I ordered one of those because my daughter could probably do it, but I'm getting back into that kind of stuff. I used to love needlepoint. They're very sort of mindless things, but a good way to get the creativity going. So that's my challenge. Anybody else want to add? Oh yeah, virtual yoga classes.
I've been spending more time in the garden, or I should say garden, my backyard, which looked a little bit, was looking a little bit neglected in this drought. Supposedly this is now the hottest or the least amount of rain that we've gotten in March, at least in the Orlando area. So, we would be all about talking about the drought right now if it weren't for the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So my yard is completely dead. So I'm, watering, trying to bring everything back to life, pruning, and, as much as I can. So I'm showering twice a day because there's all kinds of midges out there right now. There's little no-see-ums that try to bite you, but I'm enjoying it, and I don't get to do it very often. So this is a real treat. It's nice. And the yard guys, they're like, wow, you're doing more work than we are. So that's fine.
It's good exercise too, right?
Yes, it is. I know my muscles are, ooh. So
yeah. I think being home a lot this, you know, during this time, I think family is the key word here. You know, you're spending more time with your family. I have found myself with the twins. I decided to just go ahead and tackle the potty training while we're stuck at home for all these days. So yes, the 2.5-year-old twins have started the potty training process, and I think that once this is all done, they'll be ready to sleep over grandma and grandpa's houses for a couple nights in a row. They'll be potty trained. They'll have missed them. So I'm getting them ready.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I love that. That's the plan, to get them out of the house.
Yes,
and
yes.
get mom and dad some time. But
Yeah.
you know, it's so funny because they do always say to only do it when you're not going to have interrupted time at home. So
Exactly.
wow, that's a great one. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I see we got a lot of gardeners in the group. Yoga, that's another. My daughter has her yoga teacher is doing videos on YouTube twice a week for us. So I've always wanted to do yoga, so this is going to be the time. So, well, guys, we are going to wrap this up. And again, just know, do everything you can. Know we are here. We are cheering you guys on. You are all amazing business owners. And we've already seen such creativity and innovation. Hang in there. It's not going to be easy. I had a tough day last week, and we call each other when we have those days. You know, I am an extrovert, so being trapped in my house is like my worst nightmare. So, but just hang in there. We just appreciate you guys so much. And Nancy, any last words? And we'll wrap this one up.
Yeah, well, check us out on tonight at 7, right? So the virtual meeting, the virtual meetup, we'll do a little bit of, you know, resource sharing and just information. I think we have a bit of a structure where we're going to ask you to share with us and the group what you're doing and how you're doing it, and any innovations you've seen. And this, you know, this is the best time for innovation is when you have an opportunity to think differently, right? Yeah. And so let's all take advantage of that and share what we're doing so that we can learn from others what they're doing. So we hope to see you tonight at 7, tomorrow night at 7, Wednesday night at 7, and Thursday night at 7. And yes, by all means, if you're in another region and you want to learn what's going on in Orlando or in Tampa Bay, in North Florida, join those calls, because you never know, you might meet someone that you might be able to do some business with.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week. And just be on the watch out for this recording. It'll go up on YouTube tomorrow. So take care, guys. Have a great week. Stay healthy. Bye, guys.